Oh, I was just talking to myself because I didn't go live. Did I jinx myself? I don't know. But welcome to DearDana. I'm happy to have you here. Hello, Paranormal Witch. We're going to have a conversation. Yes, we are. We're going to have a conversation indeed. Did J-Lo and Ben Affleck, did they split? Hey, Shelly Marie, did they split? No, they didn't split. But will they? That's the question. Because I'm wondering, can you go back? Once you break up like that, can you go back? I mean, really, he basically left her at the altar almost. No, they didn't split, but he basically left her at the altar almost a few days before the wedding. They say it was because of all the attention and the paparazzi and yada yada. That's not really what it was. It's not really what it was. He had already been sort of romancing his new co-star, Jennifer Garner. That's what happened. He had already been sort of flirting and romancing his new co-star. I'd been in that situation. We're going to talk about Ben and Jen, bennifer, to start with, and then we're going to go into the topic about red flags and going back. But before we do, welcome to DearDana. Please hit the like button as you come in and subscribe if you haven't. We're going to dive deep into our own relationships and past relationships and just the subject matter period. But we're going to scrape the surface of Ben and Jen and, maybe give our own opinion if it'll work, because they both have quite a history, especially Jen. Not saying she's a bad person. Hello, Morel Smith and Paranormal Witch and Shelly. I know I saw Shelly in here. Shelly Marie. But let me drop the intro. I can't believe I was sitting here. I was putting on a show. Didn't hit the live button. So much good that does. But yeah, I wanted to connect it to, sorry, I have ice in my mouth. I get terrible dry eye and dry mouth. Just dry. But anyway, I'm sorry. I wanted to connect it to public figures and us to let us know that it's not just us everyday people that aren't famous, but look at them. Yes, they look cute together. Yes, I would like for them to be happy forevermore. But I remember when they originally got together. And it's really sort of, she was becoming famous and singing and getting parts in films. She was on the rise up at that time. Ben had already gained some, at that time, he was more famous than she was. Let's just say it. He was more famous than she was when they initially got together in the early 2000s. She was singing, and they hooked up together. Yes, she had been married. Before they got together, she'd already been married twice. She had been married. She had a high school sweetheart that she was together with almost 10 years. Now, rest in peace, he's passed away, but that was probably, I don't know how long she was together with her children's father yet, but that was probably one of her longest relationships. But then she was only married like 9 months or something to her first husband, and I'll show you him in a minute. She was only married to him a few months, and then it was just becoming too much. and she divorced him. His name was Ohani Noah, and she gave him a job as a manager in one of her restaurants. He ended up getting fired, and he was mad as you know what. So he was going to give out public information about their personal life, and he was supposed to have signed an NDA. So she kind of squelched that a little bit. Then he wanted to write a book about their personal life, and he'd signed an NDA. So she eventually smashed all of that. But they were only married months, so she didn't count that. To her, that marriage didn't count. So let's put it this way. J-Lo was engaged 5 times and married 3. Ohani Noah, she was only married a few months to, and she was married to a backup dancer, Chris Judd, for less than a year also. So months. She didn't, in her mind, she didn't count that marriage either. She ended up cheating. She doesn't count it as cheating. Let's keep that in mind. She cheated with Chris Judd with Ben Affleck. After she left Ohani Noah, she started dating. He was Puff Daddy, and he changed it to P. Diddy. She had starred in the movie Selena in 1997. She was married to Ohani Noah 11 months. She started dating Sean Diddy Combs in 1999. They met on a music video, and they split in 2001 because she felt that he may have cheated on her. And then she goes from him to Chris Judd. See, when did she went to Chris Judd? In 2001. She broke up with, look at the time lapse. She left P. Diddy in 2001 and married Chris Judd, her backup dancer, in 2001. She splits up with Chris Judd in 2002, and their divorce was finalized in 2003, but she was already engaged to Ben Affleck in 2002, before her divorce was over. While she was starring in movies Giggly, whatever, how it was said, and another movie, I think it was called Made in New Jersey. Jiggly was a flop. So that engagement ended in 2004. They split in January 2004. And she falls into the arms of Mark Anthony in June 2004. You see the pattern? So, she splits with Mark Anthony. She has a baby, the twins, in 2008. She splits with Mark Anthony. She admitted she went to Mark Anthony because she was so heartbroken and wounded from splitting with Ben Affleck. And she was just trying to cover a wound. She admits it. She rebounded to Mark Anthony, had the 2 babies. So when did she split from him? She splits from him and starts dating Casper Smart 4 months after splitting with Mark Anthony. Casper Smart, I believe, was another dancer. She dated him for 5 years and felt like he had been cheating and doesn't deal with that. She supposedly dated Drake quickly, went straight from Drake to Alex Rodriguez. Before things were even, the fire was even dead with Alex Rodriguez, Ben Affleck had been writing, she stayed connected to Ben Affleck over the years, they were friends. He had been writing her letters, trying to get her back. Trying to get her back. Let me show you some of the pictures of these guys. And you can see the timeline. Dun, 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 dun. Show you her relationships. So really, she does not miss a beat. She does not give it a breather between the guys like she really should. Let me take you to the top. Let me blow it up. If I blow it up, I can't see it. I wish I could roll it on my screen at the same time. Okay. Okay, there is she and Alex Rodriguez. There is she and her first husband, Ohani Noah. P. Diddy. That is her backup dancer, and that's her second husband that lasted a few months. She went straight from him to Ben Affleck before the ink was even dry on the divorce papers. Ben Affleck straight to Mark Anthony, the famous singer. That's who she had her kids with. Stayed with him a few years. Then she went to Casper Smart. Stayed with him about 5 years, never married. Went straight to Casper Smart. Supposedly dated Drake. Now, there's controversy behind that. A lot of denial. And to A-Rod. Straight from A-Rod back to Ben Affleck. What are your thoughts? I want to know your thoughts. Do you think they will stay together or split? Do you think you can ever go back? Here's what I think about them. I feel like both of them, particularly, Jennifer's got everything. She's got money, she's got fame, she's got kids, she's got beauty, she's got it all. I don't think she likes to be alone. I really feel like she needs time to process who she is on the inside. Who she is on the inside. She hasn't missed a beat. She's always on the go. She has her children. When does she really get to be alone and process who she is on the inside? She has never missed a beat between men. I haven't seen it in the history of. I mean, spit from one guy is not dry before she's swapping spit with another one. I mean, really. I know her heart was broken by Ben, but I mean, when you are in a major breakup, there's a lot to process there. Emotionally, spiritually, physically, all of it. How can you go straight to somebody else and have had processed that? I mean, really, how? It's not possible. So, really, what you're doing is you're taking all that luggage from that broken relationship and you are carrying it on to the next. Not only that, she's going back to a relationship that ended in terrible heartbreak 17 years ago. Yeah, she needs to love herself on the inside. She's got everything going on out here, but to go back 17 years, and he is known to readjust himself according to what she needs. He went to a little bit, you know, casual and laid out. If you look at the girls he's dated from his divorce up until her, to put together, super groomed, standing up erect, looking all hot and got it all together because he's with her, and she's real disciplined, and that's kind of what she expects. I know they laugh and kid and are real grounded with each other, or that's what it appears to be, but in my opinion, my sense, she has very high expectations. Jennifer Garner, I would assume, has high expectations of him as a dad and stuff, but she seems more sweet and easygoing. Hey, Miriam, you get what I'm saying? Compare his wife. I know you guys know, ladies, know who Jennifer Garner is, and then you have J-Lo, right? But see, he left J-Lo for Jennifer Garner. He left J-Lo for Jennifer Garner. That's the trick. 17 years ago, he left J-Lo for Jennifer Garner. He didn't want the marriage to end. He was torn apart that his marriage ended. It was Jennifer Garner's. She tried to make it work. She had him in another house. She helped look after him. It was her choice for the marriage to end. That's what I'm saying. And she still wants him very involved. And he got help to stop drinking. It is a family problem he has. His dad, his grandmother, etc. He had to admit to himself that he has an alcoholism problem. So, they look cute together back in early 2000. I mean, they were the first name match. You know how everybody ships the names together? They were the first ones that it ever happened with. The bennifer thing. I'm going to share the link. But they are the first ones that it ever happened with. I would love to see them make it. Everybody deserves their happy ever after. That's not what I'm saying. But my concerns are they both have really bad patterns of not doing the work on themselves. And that being said, I think there are occasions where people can go back in time to old loves. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. It takes work and therapy when you've been through the things you've been through. And I had to have help too. When you've been through a lot of traumatic stuff in a marriage, Vinny says she has PTSD. Willow says she has PTSD. You have to reach out and get help. You can't do it by yourself. You can't always do it by yourself. If you know you have those issues, seek help. There's no shame in saying, look, I've got this. I need some skills or some homework or a helping hand to help navigate it. Right? But If you don't do the work and you try to go back to a relationship, in my opinion, you're going to fail again. Fail, fail, fail. Look, in my first marriage, he would reach out to me and say, "What's so wrong with our X-year relationship that we can't come back together?" And I was like, "Fool, are you crazy? Are you crazy? You are saying that to me. What's so wrong with this relationship that we can't come back together? You haven't done any work. All you did was leave the house for 3 years, and you've not done any work on yourself. And you're saying, what's so wrong with this relationship that we can't come back together?" Fool, bye. Bye. Because if you can't see what is wrong and you haven't made any changes and you still want to come back in my life, you need to go away. Go away. Because you're just going to hurt me and bring more harm into mine and my child's life. Go away. My eyes are open now. Please go away. And that was a huge red flag to me. Huge red flag. Huge red flag. When someone wants to come back into your life and they haven't done any work and they don't see where the problem is and they don't see a problem, red flag. Red flag. He was writing her letters while she was engaged before that relationship had ended. Red flag. To me, that's a red flag. And disrespectful. Right? Oh, Willow. Hello, JC Bear. Yeah, how many of you have been doing your grounding? Yes, no. When you are in distress, do everything in your possible nature to do self-care. Everything you can. What do you think, JC Bear, about, we're talking about red flags in relationships we see too, but in the Jen and Ben, as much as it is fantasy, you want everybody to have their happy ending. I see red flags. She's never skipped a beat from one relationship to another. Yeah, that song came up in my head. Honors to Brit, but that's what I believe. If you don't do your work, it gets toxic. If you want healthy relationships, if you want to go back to an old relationship and nobody has grown, done any work, you don't see a difference, they're the same as they were, Jessie Bear, she has gone from one relationship to another immediately before even getting divorced or fully broken up. I've got timelines listed. There's no week or month or anything really between relationships. I kid you not. I was telling them there's no time for the spit to dry. Yeah. Well, I guarantee you, Everybody, I would be amazed if there was one person in this chat that has not experienced some degree of trauma. It is real. I would be amazed. She's done it in every single relationship, JT Bear. Every single one. Trauma is very real. I mean, it's an epidemic of huge proportion. And let me say this too. It's been exponentially increased with the pandemic. Every human being on our planet has now experienced trauma. Let me say that again. Every person on this planet, because of the pandemic, has now experienced trauma. Some not even knowing it. And it's going to come out in ways they do not even expect yet. This is the truth. Heck, I experienced it in variant different ways that I did not even recognize until I became an adult. Oh, Zenzarius. What a sweetheart. Getting out of bed just to say hey to me? Sending you big old love. Everybody sends Zenzarius love. He is doing super from what I have heard, and send him healing too. He is working on getting strength back in his legs. So before you know it, he'll be running races. He is adorbs. He is my friend. He is in YouTube school with me. He always looks out for me. He is one of the best of the best. Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Doc. What is that? He is a good human. A depot visit so I can update them fully and hopefully return to work with obvious limits next week. I am extraordinarily proud of you, Zenzarius. I am. Zenzarius, let me ask you, did you expect your healing to be this level now? I'm just so impressed. I'm very, very impressed. We're giving you all the love here, Zenzarius. Sending you all the healing and all the love. I want you to be top notch. I think that's awesome. Gonna keep sending healing your way. I'm just so incredibly happy and impressed. I told you you would be walking. Yes, it is. Didn't I tell you you would be walking faster than you thought you would? Hello, Natasha Reiser. So everybody surround him with huge healing, continued healing to Zenzarius. I knew I would be right. You are special, and I just want you to have your life back. I couldn't stand it when you told me that you were in pain. I just couldn't take it. Sushi and teriyaki beef. I like sushi, but I don't like it raw, so I guess it's not really sushi. Yes, continued healing. I don't want to keep you from sleeping, though, because sleeping is healing. That's when you heal the best. But when I see you, it warms my heart so much. And the fact that you're doing so well almost makes me want to cry. I'm so happy about it. I know, right, Shelly Marie? I told him when I met him, we would talk back and forth, but when I found out what was going on and he was in pain, I was like, I'm going to start sending you healing energy. Well, I'm just so humble and proud that you did. My arms are like buzzing just because he's in here. It's like the healing wants to go. We'll just continue to send it to you. You'll just get more and more and more until you are running and getting around. Can't remember if we met before I had my accident or if it was just after. I don't know, because when I first met you, you didn't tell me about it. And then all of a sudden, I found out you were in really severe pain. And you told me you couldn't walk. And you were like up. It is a very safe place, Morel. Look, for me to come out and say I could do healing work and other stuff in here, I was taking a big risk that people were going to think I was crazy. You're most welcome, Morel. I just wanted you to be okay, Zinzarius. I just knew that when you told me how much pain you were in, then I could sense it, and then I couldn't take the fact that you were in that much pain. Hey, Shannon Van. I just want to keep up with the updates because, yeah, you're in bad shape, and then now it's just moving really fast, so I'm extraordinarily happy about it. So continued healing your way. He comes in here now the energy's pumping up, and I've got it 67 degrees in here, so I would not, in case healing stuff took place, I would not get so hot, and now I'm like burning up. And it's sad when I've got to turn it way down in case healing takes place and I start burning up. But I so appreciated you checking in on me when I was late today. Was it today? Yesterday? It was yesterday. But anyway, I guess I better get back to the topic. Is Shoeless One in here? I guess he did pop in. Hello, Shoeless One. Morning in Australia. Sleepy time in the UK. I guess I need to do something even earlier so I'm not breaking into everybody's sleep time. No, you did not derail. Thank you, Zinzarius. You do not know how much that means to me. Yeah, Zendarius has great news, Shannon Man. He is walking. We're talking. Zen, do you believe that you can go back to an old love and at work after it went the first time? I just don't know. When you're not doing the work, I just don't know. Hello, Arseny. That is okay. It is always a pleasure to have you in here. If you haven't done the work and you try to go back, I think it's just like a big red flag. Big red flag. Because who would want to be hurt twice? Not me. I don't want to be hurt twice by the same person. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, I didn't mean it like I was special or something. Yeah, if you both take care of the issues and you both have love in your heart, yeah, that would be a super relationship. Very good point. But if you haven't, I mean, I know Jen and Ben have grown, but look, the timeline of JLo's relationships, she has not had time to I told him, she has not had time for the slobber to dry. She goes from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. She does not have time. I don't see how you have time to. Yes. No. Work it. It's, if you work on relationships, it's worth it. Oh, good point, Shan. So now he doesn't drink. So, that's a possibility. But I mean, look, Ben was already writing her while she was in way before this Southern Charm scandal happened. I mean, they stayed in connection all these years. So there had to be something there. But he left her for Jennifer Garner. Is why their marriage went, I mean, their engagement went kaput. She's had 5 engagements and 3 marriages. He's had 1 marriage. He's had a bout with alcoholism. And his interview was February 2020, where he had just gone through rehab. So that hasn't even been a year of sobriety. Sobriety. Dana, say it right. A year of sobriety. You're not even supposed to be in a relationship for the first year. And he's gone from going on dating apps to dating to writing J-Lo. You're not supposed to do that while you're going through the, AA and all that stuff. You're supposed to get to know yourself while you're going through the 12 steps, right? That's my understanding. That's what my cousin told me. If you're not already married, you're not supposed to go dating and go into new relationships and all that stuff. Make changes. Absolutely, Zen. We all have demons we have to deal with. But you need to get to know yourself and try to see the source of certain things that have been in your way that were, like, for instance, if you had a bad breakup, and our initial trigger finger is to blame everything on the partner. And sometimes it is more the partner than it is you. But in every relationship, I don't care if they were, the worst thing since the devil. Even if they were the biggest problematic person, it still takes both of you. in the end. Even if they were the biggest offender, you still contributed in some way or the other. Or you contributed by either engaging or poking the bear or not doing something sooner or not reaching out for help in some way. I'm not saying it's your fault if they harmed you or anything like that, but there are still pieces and parts of you that you need to look at, is what I'm saying. Does that make sense? None of us are totally 100% innocent in the demise of a relationship. There's still pieces of us that we need to work on. That's what I'm trying to say. Finish says she doesn't believe people change. If you work on yourself, you do. Some people don't change because they don't want to change. Some people aren't in a space where they want to change. Some people think they're fine like they are. They don't want to put in the work. Zen says, while everyone has the right to be a better person, that doesn't give them the right to be with the ex if the ex doesn't want it. Exactly. That's facts, DearDana, Shelley says. But, I mean, you've met people that are set in their ways. They're set in their ways. They're not going to change. That's the way it is, dude. We've met other people from different generations. They're not going to change. They don't have the need to. My grandfather would not have changed for anything. He was from a complete different generation. In my space, and a lot of it has to do with my field, we were encouraged to evolve, encouraged to do so. Some people think they're perfect. I've met some of those people. They don't think they need to change. They're perfect. And some people that blame themselves for everything are always trying to change. But then you have people that change themselves with every different group they're in. Like they have to change to be liked or change to be loved. Or you've seen them, they're like chameleons. I'm just talking about changing to be a better you. Arsene says, I disagree. I've changed so much since being with my wife, but I fought hard not to. How so, Arsene? What do you mean? You've changed since being with her? How so? Softer, harder, more to please her? How so? Zanzari says, changing and bettering yourself is the hardest thing. Good news, though, you don't have to please everyone. No, you don't. I've tried to change to better myself because when I was a kid, I was trying to please everyone. When I was a teenager, I was probably trying to please everyone. And maybe in the very early years. Now, I just want to be a better person. I want to consistently just be better. You know what I mean? I want to grow as a person, learn more, be better, own my mistakes when I see them, or if someone tells me, they felt a certain way or I hurt them or didn't mean to. I want to just be a better person, a good human, and help people, I just want to be better each day, learn things. When you were a teen, you mean teenage. You are so funny, Zensarius. 10 years ago. I wish, but would I really do teenage years again? I don't know if I'd do teenage years again. Lord have mercy. These days, I don't know if I'd do teenage years again. I don't know if it seems harder or easier. Oh, you're more open now than you were? Is that a bad thing, Arseny? To be more open? I don't know. I think that being more open is not so bad. When you're harder, it makes it not so easy for people to get to know you. Maybe when you're harder, it's and people can't get to know you, that it's easier not to get to your heart broken. Maybe is that the case? I'm not sure. Morale, you still try to please everyone? I remember that makes it so hard when you try to please everybody and you still don't please everybody and you never end up pleasing yourself. You just end up with a lot of angst and anxiety and stress, right? It took me a long time to be able to say no. A really long time to be able to say no. I would say yes so often, and I get that funny feeling in my stomach right after I would say yes, like, you should have said no, right? I mean, immediately in my stomach. Like, you should have said no, you dummy. Because I just put more on my plate. I think that's the case with me. I've always been a people pleaser. Being polite is different from trying to please everyone. Yes, I think polite is key. I think polite is a good thing. Now I just close-minded with relationship with people. I don't trust people, and I'm trying not to cry as much. Give your paranormal witch, Willow, make appointments with yourself to cry. It's easier that way. Like say, okay, it's so-and-so o'clock. I'm going to sit outside or I'm going to go to the tub and I'm going to bawl my eyes out for this amount of time. I'm going to think of everything that makes me sad and just get it out of my system. And then move on and get busy doing other things. Put music on to dance. Find something to make you laugh. Let your other emotions have an appointment too. Let them have an appointment too. And it's okay right now for you to be closed-minded about a relationship because you need to learn more about yourself and allow yourself to continue to get stronger. It's probably not time for a relationship for you right now. It's probably too soon. Let the wounds heal some. Don't be a J-Lo. I don't really think she's I'm not saying she's a bad person, she's not. I don't think she's a good example of how you should go to a next relationship. Because she tends to walk around with bandages on wounds and goes to the very next one immediately. I mean, if you could see her wounds in real time, it probably wouldn't be pretty. She's just going to the next person to try to make the wounds stop bleeding. Does that make sense? It's not bad to date and stuff, but I just think that it's too early because you would probably talk about the pain of the one you left. if that makes sense. Nothing wrong with flirting, but it's probably too early to date. But have you ever tried to go back to an ex to try to make it work and it didn't work? What are the red flags all of you see in relationships that you've learned? What are the red flags you've seen? Well, just disconnect from his family for now, Willow. I can see that she's afraid of being alone. But you can still flirt. You can talk to people. I mean, you made a community online. Yeah, if you're in the mood to cry, do that. But also have dates for other things. Don't push out joy. Don't push out dancing. Don't, sometimes the other things are good to find ways to express yourself. I would turn on music that helped me to express my other emotions. Write, cry, do all the things. Yes, and there he is right. Dive into a pillow and cry. Hit the pillow. Recently I recommended to my friend of mine that felt like she still had some emotions or some anger to get a boxing, what is that thing called? Somebody help me. I lost the word. But the boxing thing. I can't believe I can't think of that word. It hangs and you can hit it. I need one. The boxing thing. To get it out of your system. Anyway. Not the boxing glove, but the boxing bag. Yes, that's it. The punching bag. The boxing bag, the punching bag. I want one. I hope to get one soon. I love them. I like to box. I have a certification for kickboxing. I haven't done it in a while. To teach kickboxing. And to do PIO, which is a certification to teach PIO, which is like Pilates and yoga on crack. It moves faster. I haven't done it probably in a year. But I love boxing. I love kickboxing a lot. But yeah, I recommended it to a friend to get some stuff out of her system. You'd be amazed how much emotion it gets out of your system and makes you feel so much better. Sometimes it can even make you cry. It can get anger out of your system. It can get tears out of your system. It just feels so much better. It gets your adrenaline up. It just, I don't know, movement can kick emotion into gear. Yes, I get that, Centurions. I was talking to Willow to get some emotion out of her body. But she can do the boxing. When a long time ago when I got out of that relationship, back in the day, I got that program, Taibo. I used to pretend like I was punching that person's face in the air. Made me feel so much better. Made me feel so much better. Yeah. Find something that just makes you take it out of your body. Take it out of your body and visualize. You know what I'm saying, Willow? Project it out of your body. is so very helpful. You can take the anchor out of your body, the motion out of your body, and visualize it, like using the punching bag, anything like that. Punching the pillow, crying. When you feel the crying come on, say, okay, crying, I'm giving you such and such time. I'm going to cry my eyes out right now. But make dates with yourself to do other stuff. Turn on the music and dance with your babies. I'm just saying, don't devote all of the time just for that. Devote other time for the other things too, because you deserve it. Your spirit deserves it. Your soul deserves it. That is part of the progress of healing and working on yourself. So the next person that you are, hey, a blobby, yes. So the next person you are ready for, you've done that work. You've done that work. You've leveled up. You're not stuck. You're not holding these red flags. You understand what I'm saying? You got to level up from old relationships and not be stuck. So that's what I'm saying. When people try to go back to old relationships and they haven't done the work, they might as well have red flags stuck all over their head. I'd rather have these kind of things stuck on me, like, oh, I did the work, baby. I'm ready. I got the heart stuck on me. That says, oh, I'm ready. Come take my heart. I got the selenite heart stuck on me. You want my heart? I did the work. Oh, they're 4 years old now? I didn't realize they were that old. So you do the work, so you're ready, so you're leveled up, so a healthy person is ready for you. Yes, Morel. I love these conversations in here. Bobby, you want to come up with me and talk about red flags in relationships when you see them? I mean, like Ben and Jen, I'd love for them to make it. They don't do enough personal work. I think Jen holds the power in the men. I really do. And if they aren't leveled up, honey, he might be next on the list. I just don't know. He likes powerful women, I think. I think the girls he dated before, they just didn't have the oomph that they wanted. They were like Barbie dolls. And I think that his first wife, he really didn't want that gone. She's sweet, but she kind of kept him grounded too until she couldn't. I want to know when the women in the chat, I don't know how many of you, what do you feel like are red flags now that you've had relationships and you've learned some things? What are red flags to you? We know the obvious ones. They need to have a job. They need to have a job. They need to be kind, not be alcoholics, right? Not have a multitude of ex-wives. Not have big egos and be controlling. Am I talking by myself? Cling. What did you say? Clinginess is a red flag. Jealousy, yes. Clinginess is a huge red flag. Yeah, Willow, but their dad didn't see them that much, did he? Didn't you say their dad didn't see them very much? Really? Just tell him that he'll come see them when he can. I mean, they're very young at that age and resilient. Just keep them occupied. Yeah, say what Sensarius said. And you don't want them being jealous of your job. Some men don't like it if you make more money than they do. That is a thing. That is often a thing in the South, too. Men do not often like it if you have a better career than they do. Poor spending habits, absolutely. That is a difficult one if they have poor spending habits. If they are not good fathers, if you have children and they're not good to your children, big, huge red flag. Big, huge red flag. A lot of men are jealous if you make more money than they do because their ego gets hurt. Because a lot of men feel like they should be the one that, how do I put it? A lot of men feel like they should be the, I'm the man. I do more. I make more. I bring more. Unless they're taking advantage of you. A lot of men are jealous. Yeah, conditioning is also a factor. You want to explain that more, Arseny? Yeah, that does depend on the environment. Some men are greedy and don't care. Or some men are polite and don't care. But I would say more often than not, men have an issue with women making too much. Controlling and jealous. Shelly Marie, did you experience seeing that um, growing up as well, where there were relationships around you that were controlling and jealous? Because sometimes if we see it, we also tend to attract it for some reason. But on the flip side of that, sometimes if you're attractive, father was controlling. Sometimes men can get controlling and jealous. They don't start out that way, but then they can get that way. Or you end up with a man that seems okay, but then he is insecure and is afraid you're going to leave him and can get controlling and jealous. And accuse you of doing things that you wouldn't do. Some men will accuse you of doing things they're doing. That's messed up too. But that's way after the fact. And that's not all men either. Look, in my experience, you're almost better off dating a nerd. Because they treat you the best. Honestly. In my experience, guys that are more into books or science or more on the nerdy side usually treat you the best. In the early days, if I would date a jockier guy or whatever, they end up being jerkier. Jerkier. Nerdier, nicer. The old saying is when someone's pointing a finger at you, 3 are pointing back at them. Sheila's one, what would you say are red flags? Now, you can do it on the flip side with women. What do you feel like? And Arsene can too. When we came to Australia, my mom started working and making more. It changed the relationship, and my dad was in her. See, perfect example. Because I also feel like when women make more money, men feel like they have less power or control. Cesaria said, if you include the thumb. I want to know from the men, what do you feel like are the red flags when you date women? The red flags you see when you date women. I think the women would like to know as well. What are the red flags you see when you date women? Da 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 da. Hey, we're listening. Can you tell us, or are you afraid to tell us? The red flags that you see about women, like if you tried to go back, or if you're, sort of looking at the landscape of women, I think it's when they speak to their exes still frequently. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. You think they're trying to keep them on reserve? Like they're trying to invite them back in? I mean, if they have children, maybe. Oh, if they're controlling and set in their ways. Some would stalk them on social media. Well, you think some women stalk them on social media? Or when every female friend must be removed? Oh, so JC, you're saying women would make the female friends be removed from your social media? Is that what you're saying? Oh. Sincerity said the stigma is that men are the provider and protector, and so are emasculated when women are making more and don't require such. Oh, yes. That is the big one. Because when women make more money, men, exactly, very well put. The stigma is that men are the provider and protector, and so are emasculated when women are making more and don't require such elements. Perfectly said, yes. Because, think about it, back in the caveman days, men would men would go out and hunt and bring back the kill and the food and everything. And then women would fix it where you could use the fur for clothes and stuff. So men were the protectors and the hunters. So they were the main thing, just like he said, provider and protector. So if they can't do all that, they feel like they're emasculated when women are doing it all. Exactly. So if women are making more and everything, they feel less than. They need to feel like they are taking care of us. You are so right. Thank you, Zenzarius, for saying what I could not so eloquently say. Exactly. So they're trying to find a match that they feel like they're taking care of their woman. And I think in the South, especially, we have a lot of powerful women and stuff, but we're sort of raised in a way to let our guys feel like they are kind of doing that. But by the same token, I'm stubborn. I am stubborn. I mean, I'm opinionated, but I know when to be kind and loving too. I do. I promise I do. Controlling and set in their ways. Yeah, it's bad when women don't know when to be soft and kind and give. If they have to remove every female friend, if I were to know it's just a friend, I would be cool with it. But if they're wearing, lingerie and you could tell it's hey baby, yeah, I'd have a feeling about it. If the female stayed at home, they would have only half the man woman power they had to gather resources. True. Some men are scared that women would leave if they make more money and become more independent. Very excellent point, Arseny. Good point. So, that being said, do you guys and are you intimidated by women making the money just like you? Shelley Marie says, what if a man could look at providing her support emotionally, friendship, etc., not just financially? Shoeless One says, there's been such a movement for equality that there's a lot of men that feel lost their importance in society. Sinceri said he wouldn't feel negated at all, so does Shoeless One. He wouldn't feel that way at all either. That's good. Autist, how do I get women to simp for me? To simp for you? How do I get women to simp for me? I'm not really sure what you're looking for. I don't think it's going to happen here. Sinceria says, by being me. Yeah, you'd have to be Sincereous for me to fawn over you. My husband would love it if I could make more money than him, but I'm on permanent Social Security disability. Paranormal says some men don't know how to express themselves with women. They don't want to seem weak. By expressing yourself with women, I don't think that makes you seem weak. Some men are very charming and know exactly what to say. Yes, mutual respect. Absolutely. And while I'm thinking of it, welcome to DearDana, and while you're on here, please like, subscribe, share. I often forget to say that. So while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to say it. Yes, we're talking about red flags in a relationship. Sinceria says, I love strong women. Well, you're on the right channel because there's a lot of strong women here. Did Vintage disappear? I don't see her anymore. Where did she go? We have strong women pass in and out of here all the time. All the time. Bonsoir. Bonsoir, mon ami. But do all women find that attractive in a male? Do they find what attractive in a male? JC Bear, I'm lost. You must clear up this resolution for me. I cannot understand. Do all women find what attractive in a man? I'm confused. JC Bear? Do, I don't. Vintage, can you clear this up for me? I'm confused. Me too. My wife is very strong and feisty. I love it. I like it when we get feisty, but it turns out funny. You know, people in my house, and when I talk to my mom, it can turn out funny or into an argument. What does the bear find handsome? Vintage says. Oh, money. I love the data story. Oh, yeah, so romantic. Money. Money, money, money. I'm confused. It's like so many conversations going on. You love to debate. That can be dangerous. It depends on what you're debating on. Like, I don't like it when people debate about religion or politics. It gets dangerous. Very dangerous. Now, love, that can go a million different directions, right? Look at you, Variety. I wants to know. Why can't men and women treat each other equal? You know, I do believe there are a lot of men and women that can treat each other equal, but there are some that it's just a personality type, right? Some personality types just cannot because too much ego gets involved. And I believe, honestly, females, whether some want to admit it or not, that we're the last to be given that type of equality. And it seems to be okay. Now, people like Zen, JC Bear, Ursney, and a multitude of other men do not treat women like that. But there are a lot of men that do, especially higher ups, CEOs in political arenas, etc., do not necessarily see women in the same way. Give us a womb and we'll soon change our mind. Our culture is in its baby step for gender equality. I agree with you, August. Hello, creatorist. So happy. I'm always happy to see you here. And I love your name. Oh, intellectual stimulation is what you. Now, you know what? I love intellectual stimulation too. I love a smart man. I do not know what it is. Let me tell you, I hate to admit, what was that show? Uh, I've got brain glitch tonight. Okay, you know the show that had the doctor that would pill pop and he had the crutch and he always had the answer to everything? And it was on for a few years. God, I love that show. What was it? I'm turning into a game show, people. I'm forgetting words, and you have to come up with the answer. Yes! Zarius, you're my hero. I was in love with House. Not the actor, the actual doctor on that show. Hey, Jesse Bear.
Hello. How
I
it goes?
I had the biggest crush on House MD,
Oh, by Hugh Morey was the actor, I think.
but it wasn't the actor that I had the crush on. It was the literal character.
True, because he was always a smartass, and he knew what he was talking about.
And a
And
genius.
yes, but getting back to the reason I came on is when we were talking about gender equality
Yeah,
and so forth. My take on it is that nowadays you have elements that are in the extreme that are dominating the whole narrative.
yeah.
You have a male element that will go, well, if you want to be equal, then I don't have to pay you the social courtesies that I grew up with. And you have an extreme female element that goes, I'm a woman, you don't have to pay that to me. And we're all caught in between, realizing that yes, I can view you as an equal and open a door for you.
Bingo. Yeah,
I can say, do you need help with that piece of luggage? And
yeah.
it's by no means meaning that, oh, you're a woman, so you can't pick that up. Heck, I've had women help me pick up some of my luggage when I've been stumbling with it. It's like, oh, do you need somebody else help? Yes, please help me get this to the ground. But the thing is that you got all these extreme elements that pick on one or two incidences and try to use it against each other.
Yeah.
And we end up being the victim where we're like, okay, do I open the door? Do I do this? Do I say morning? I can't say good morning, or I can't say this. And it's like, it does boil down to what was said earlier. It's called basic respect for each other.
Yeah.
And,
Hi,
it, and
Sheila.
it,
Yeah.
so I figured I'd come on, express my view, drive everybody crazy. Plus, I took too much wasabi on the last
Oh
sushi
no.
roll. So it's like,
Hot.
yeah. And I'm like, and I'm like, no, 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 I can't go on. I'm still trying to calm down. Finally, my nose stopped running.
But I guess I'm like you that I want the basic respect. I want the equality. But I'm stuck in the middle somewhere because I'm still a romantic. You know, I still like the door open and um the romantic part of a male doing kind. How do I say it, JC Beer?
Well, I was brought up with this is how you show respect to who you're dating. You're supposed to treat the person right.
appreciating that I'm a woman,
Yes.
but not taking the fact away that I'm also intelligent.
Oh yeah. I mean, opening a door for somebody has nothing to do with their intelligence. It's just a sign of respect. That's
Yeah,
how I was brought up. And, when I asked my parents, it's like, is your marriage like 50-50? They just laughed at me because it equals out to 50-50. But on a daily or weekly basis, you've raised kids, you're still raising kids. It's like there's some weeks it's, all about the kids. There are other weeks it could be, 90% about you. Next week could be 70% about your hubby or partner. Like it balances, but I think a lot of people think that a relationship has to be 50-50 all the time.
right. I mean,
And it ebbs and flows back and forth.
I walked into I went in. I don't go a whole lot because the virus is still
Yeah.
around. But I've gone into a store not that long ago and it was raining, and the man had his umbrella and I didn't have one, and he ran up and put it over me too, and I was shocked this day and age, and I was like, wow, I said chivalry still exists because I was so shocked, right? But
Oh
it's
yeah.
like Zen says, it doesn't have to be gender either. I've opened doors for men.
I've had women hold doors open for me when it's -20 out and I'm booting for the door trying to get warm. Yeah, I mean, I've had them hold it up open so I could get inside.
I mean, I just believe my basic, my core thing is be a good human. It's still be a good human, no matter what.
True, but like I said, don't get pulled into extreme elements that try to make it sound like, oh, well, if you want that, you have to give up that. Sorry, it's the wasabi still. One sec.
Are you
Okay,
okay?
I'm back.
Sorry. I know how hot that stuff is.
Oh
Have you
yeah,
got
but I mean,
have got tears?
a little bit. Not as many as before, but just a little bit, so it's all good.
I'm sorry. I
Oh, it's
saw
not you. It was my foolishness. I just kind of like sliced it on, and the next thing you know, oh my god, I forgot.
I
But I
saw
can.
you. Well, thank you, Steve. I saw you come up live with your picture the other day somewhere, and you were very handsome. You looked good. Haven't seen you live in a while.
Oh, that's because I toned down the gray a bit, so I have a whole new hair color.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yep.
You were cleaned up. I just haven't seen you like live in forever.
Oh yeah, I toned it down a bit. I feel 40 again. It's like, yeah.
And I actually got out and saw a real live movie. I
Which
went
one?
to Arisa.
Oh, how was it?
I thought it was good. I mean, there were some parts they could have done a little better, but I thought it was good. It was just long. It was 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mind you, she had a massive career though.
And she did so many things I was so unaware of. I respected her, Respect. I respected her anyway, but she just did so many things that I just did not know.
Very cool.
But it just felt weird going to a theater for the first time.
Oh yeah, it does. Because you're like looking around and you're kind of paranoid a bit.
Yeah. And uh, I, I couldn't see it all when I first went in there, like at all. I went with my mom and my aunt. They were my seeing eye dog.
Oh my god.
But when the movie came on, it was really great. So
Very cool. Now, I asked earlier in the chat, So I'm going to ask you, as unless any other females or males would like to join us up on the panel. Come on, don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Everybody's
We have
scared tonight, and I'm happy to see August. I mean, I think you're the first time. It's the first time I've seen you in here, if I recall correctly. Unless you've been under another name, I haven't. Don't think I've seen you in here.
true, but you're still welcome to come up. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
one of the things I had asked earlier was, and this is for the men and women in the chat, would you, when you were 25, would you select the same person to date or marry that you would now?
no,
Okay. So let's say at 25 you married who you wanted willingly, no pressure or so forth. But throughout that relationship, you changed, but they didn't. That's where you're going to end up in the problem. So
yeah, I changed. They didn't
yeah.
back then.
So
I'm not with them.
yes, but I mean that's a red flag for me when you're dating somebody and even the slightest change they're resistant to. Like instead of going to movie night, let's say there was no uh, beer beer virus or limitations that we have now, and let's say, oh, okay, well, instead of going out for dinner, why don't we try rock climbing, like the indoor rock climbing, just for fun?
Uh huh.
And they're resistant. So, and if there's any, like, if they're so set in a schedule that any slight difference uh, they're resistant to, that's always a red flag for me because variety is always fun, like to try different things or go to a different restaurant or go see maybe a completely different film genre or go to a different type of concert than what you may be used to. Thank Willow. And if they're always resistant to it, that's
Yeah,
always a bit of a red flag for me because I don't you don't want to just settle into always doing the same thing over and over again when you have options.
yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, like I have a friend who's in a relationship where every weekend they know they're going up to wherever the trailer is. It's like, is that how you plan your whole summer? Is always up at the trailer, no deviation, no. And it's like, yep. And it's like, well, good luck with that.
I know something's got to give. Oh,
Yeah.
and by the way, who said that to me about the information on the? Yeah, you can send me information on the virus, arsenic. I mean, I'm always reading everything. And the arsenic, it says something about the virus. Yeah, the pandemic. You can send me info. I'll read it. But yeah,
Uh, Zanzaris, the question was, would you, would the same person you would consider marrying when you were 25 be the same person that you would marry today or date today, depending on your situation?
just so many changes. Some people believe that you should have a relationship contract every 7 years
Yeah,
to
I
renew
could,
it.
s- I, yeah, I could see that.
And some people think that that you know those kind of things are obsolete now.
I think it depends on how you view your relationships. Like, if you want something that is monogamous and exclusive in a relationship, or if you want something that's more fluid and open. But that's a
Yeah,
whole other show. That's a whole other show.
that's a whole other big pot of potatoes. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think it was earlier in the chat. Uh, one of our community members was mentioning when they went to Australia and her mom was earning more than her dad.
yeah,
See, I have the reverse scenario where when my dad was injured at work, my mom was working, and basically my mom was basically the breadwinner
yeah,
until my dad got on to even that social disability assistance. But even then, my mom was the breadwinner. Now, and that was a rough, oh, 6 months to a year because my dad had to learn a whole other way of relating to the home situation.
yeah,
So it was like my dad learned how to do laundry. My dad learned, you know, that he wasn't to cook every day because my mom was going to work. So, she had her lunch prepared, So, but that was that wasn't like, oh, this is a piece of cake. It took about a year for them to kind of semi switch roles
yeah.
in that light. But it was luckily for us, my mom was working full time. So the household kept going. My sister and I were just recent college grads. So we were just starting out on ours. But yeah, there's an advantage of having, both partners, in the workforce at times because there's a continuity. But I'm not saying it was easy because I'm talking about my parents. So they were much older. So yeah, there's an adjustment that has to be done. But also with men, we, if our friends are making less than their spouses who happen to be female, we can't ride them or joke to them about it because that just makes it worse. That also adds it to it because men will go, "Oh, well, you're being taken care of," but they'll do it in a derogatory way. So that's something that should be changing on how we
Yeah,
relate to our peers,
true.
especially nowadays when there is so much more of a diverse workforce.
I mean, when I was growing up, my dad was in radio. We would have women call our house. My dad changed his name to Johnny Holiday because they were radio personalities, right?
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah. So, radio was a thing. The women wanted to talk to the DJs.
Yep, fell in love with the voice.
Yeah. So, we'd have girls call our house asking to speak to Johnny Holiday and all that crap. And my mom had to learn not to be jealous. And it was a hot mess. And then later on, my mom started working when we got older because she got bored. And then men would flirt with her. So he had to learn how to deal with her bringing in money and her being out in the public and people flirting with. It was more about people coming on to them than it
Mhm.
was about money.
But you also have to, but that can happen in any relationship,
Yeah.
whether, you're a homemaker or in the workforce. I mean, you go to the supermarket or to your local butchers or dry cleaners or so forth, getting all the house.
But they were both attractive people. You see what I'm saying? So they were learning how
God,
to
who's what?
maneuver.
Yeah, and you have to learn how to deal with jealousy in any relationship. I mean, I could say when I was younger, yeah, I would probably have a little more of a jealous streak than what I would now.
Yeah.
Now I turn it into a positive. It's like, yeah, I have someone at home that somebody else thinks is hot, and they're mine or they're with me. It's like, yep. So you got to turn that green-eyed monster into, yes, I I was able to attract an asset. You know,
And see, the funny thing is, I've never been like that. You would think I would be, but I guess because I watched it, I was like, mm-mm, I'm not going to be like that. If I can't trust him, I don't want to be with him. Does that make sense?
True, but then what did that person kind of give you to initiate that kind of not being able to trust them?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, uh, you're saying if I I think I misunderstood what you meant, that the reason you don't have that type of jealous twinge is because you trust the person you're with, and if you couldn't trust them, you wouldn't be with them.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I misinterpreted. My bad.
I just won't be in that relationship. Yeah.
Yep.
So, because I didn't want a repeat of what I grew up with.
True. But what about in the chat? Does anybody have a jealous streak or think they have a jealous streak?
Yeah, let's hear. Because that's a super red flag.
Well, a little bit of jealousy, I don't mind.
Yeah, a little
But
bit's
if
not
it's
bad.
but if it becomes like, oh my God, why are you spending all that time talking to that person at the bar and not coming back to the table? And it ends up in a fight. Ugh.
A tiny bit's fine.
Yeah, but not when it ends up becoming like an abusive verbal
Yeah.
tirade or a shouting match. No, 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 no.
A tiny bit in a romantic kind of sense is fine.
Yeah, like, oh, I noticed Tom over there is paying a little bit more attention to you,
You come
and you
here.
just,
Yeah.
that type of thing, as
Yeah.
opposed to, I don't want you ever talking to them again because da 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 da.
But
I don't know. Maybe it's just younger males. Like I know when I was younger, I had a little bit more of a jealous streak
and
than
punch out the other dudes. I mean,
well, no, it would be a little more subtle. Like I would go over and when I was dating women, I just slip my arms around them. It's like, hey, hon, why don't you introduce me to your friend? Like
yeah.
hint, like that. It's just the stupid young guy territorial thing that you would do. And yeah, I was guilty. I admit it.
When I was younger, I liked the chase better. I've said that before. I don't know what it was. I always liked the chase better. I didn't want to be hurt, so I always felt like I had to have the upper hand. That's sad.
Well, no, I mean, this is a place where you want honesty. If I can admit that I had a bit of a jealous streak, it's
Yeah. I didn't want to be hurt. I didn't want to be used. So I liked the flirting. I liked the chase. If they wanted to be I think I had a couple, three boyfriends that I really liked, but I never wanted to feel trapped, I guess. Does that make sense?
yeah, I can see that. I can understand that.
So I just, I just enjoyed the chase and the flirting kind of thing.
And you think that's what JLo is enjoying?
I She doesn't like to be made a fool, for one thing. If there's any inkling that she's being cheated on, she gets out of it. She doesn't like to be alone. There's something in her that does not want to be alone. So she doesn't give any time or space between relationships. I don't know what it is that she doesn't want to be alone. So she goes from one to the next quickly and doesn't give herself time nor space to process. And because she was very, very hurt from the breakup from Ben, and they did have a little contact, so I think that she just went back to this one praying it would be the one.
Yeah, and I don't think. Well, they were seen holding hands going shopping today.
Well, I mean, they're all in. They're praying that this is it, but there's just still some red flags there. I hope for their sake that it is, but there's just some red flags.
Well, hopefully, now that Ben's gone through his therapy or so forth, he's able to recognize it and maybe
Yeah,
help her through it.
I mean, there's a deep connection, but I've seen them out. He's not supposed to be drinking, but there's alcohol in front of him. That's a concern,
Mm,
you know. But I mean, there is a. I mean, I agree with Arseny. There is some deep soul connection. I hope it works out. I pray it works out for their benefit and their kids' benefit. I do. But there's some more stuff that needs to be worked out on a deeper level.
true.
They're saying there's two. See, it says, I love how there's two separate conversations going on in here.
It always happens in Dana's chat. Always.
Welcome to, yeah, here, right?
It all depends. Sometimes the panel has moved on and talked about something completely different, and the family members are off, just like at Thanksgiving dinner, chatting about whatever they're chatting about until we ask them a question, and they're like, "What? What? Was somebody else there?"
And I'm trying to get this very, very special. Her voice is from God. I know it's like an angel. She got sick. We're supposed to have a Zoom meeting. She may or may not be on this Saturday. We'll see what happens. It is in the making, so um, it may get postponed. We shall see. Um,
Well, you never know. Things may come through at the last minute. So
yeah, I just want her to get better.
yeah,
So it says, he's having the conversation with paranormal. I won't bring that up. They come back together for comfort and familiarity. Yeah, I can see that. If you get back together with somebody you hadn't seen in a long time or whatever, it's like going to a high school reunion, which I have never been back to and I will never go back to. No, thank you. Because
oh,
you can,
no problem.
what?
I'm just gonna say no problems in Zarius. I was just when we look at the comments, the comments are slower on StreamYard than they are in the actual chat, so we see
Have,
things a little bit behind.
have you ever noticed you can reconnect with somebody from high school and it feels like not a day has passed? Oh my gosh.
Yes, like two or three. There are two or three people that are like that for me,
And
where all
so,
we have to, we like each other's posts. We don't have to talk every day, but when we do get together, it's like, oh, blah, 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 and then we're all catching up on what's happening with each other.
and sometimes it's great and sometimes it's hell
Hmm.
because your
Oh God,
frenemy is
yeah.
still your frenemy.
Yes, seen a couple of those, and that's when the guard goes up and it's like, oh, everything's wonderful. Aren't you on my Instagram? Can't you tell?
And you're like, nothing is changed with you? How has this not? How are you still my frenemy after this many years? I mean,
Yes, exactly. Because they end up saying the exact same thing to you that made them frenemies before.
yeah. You're like, I just don't get this. But
Oh
anyway,
God,
and,
yeah.
and then you're looking at them like, I don't recognize you.
Oh God, yeah.
But anyway, I have enjoyed this with all of you, talking about the red flags. I wanted it to go to a spiritual place too. It did not, but that's okay. Oh, they're getting
True.
in a really heavy conversation. I'm not going there.
Nope.
Thank you, Cinzarius, for connecting with Willow and helping her. I always love and appreciate you. He's my buddy. I love and appreciate all of you, for that matter. Um, I want to do some. Dr. Payne Nestor, so happy that you popped in here. We're about to wrap things up, unfortunately, or fortunately. We've been talking about red flags and Ben and Jen, Bennifer, and how
And
she has that.
relationships and jealousies
Yeah.
and equality and society today.
Yeah. Men's egos and red flags with women and
And how to not put too much wasabi on your sushi when you're eating.
Dr. Payne Wester is just so gorgeous. I can tell from right there. And I'm blind. But anywho, yeah,
Don't
let's
forget, like, subscribe, and share.
continue to do your grounding. The month is almost over, but it has very much so helped me. And my dog, my puppy that was nipping me, my arms are healing, but she's also calmer around me. Maybe it's a quinkadink, but she is. I guess my energy's calmer. I just don't know. Are you
Could be.
grounding, JC Bear?
I am, well, I haven't gone out to the outdoors because it's just been so hot, but I have been like barefoot. So, but I got flip flops and they have a big green area just behind my condo that's part of the building. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing more of that.
I would like for our community to really dive in and do something together in here. So I want that community page so we can talk together and plan things. We don't have it until we hit 1,000. But throw things down in the comments. Oh, and also, if you watch this later, make comments below the video and let me know red flags you've seen in relationships with people that you should stay away from when you see them, or even red flags you think about with Jennifer and Ben. Drop it in the comment below and let me know. And thank you for coming to my channel. And please like, subscribe, and share. We are pushing our way up, growing this community. Oh, and
True. And your next show is
Saturday,
at
7:15 Eastern.
cool.
Oh,
Always
also,
good to let them know in case the notify bell.
ding.
Exactly.
Oh, and we're planning to do live in October some ghost hunting.
Sounds good.
You want to do it with us?
Let's see, Saturday. I
Probably.
should be, I should be back. I will try.
Yes, I love all my butterflies in here. Oh, thank you, Mark Krupka. I like seeing you in here. Yeah, I didn't know Bubbles was going to invite me up. I don't know if she liked what I had to say that night, but I was just trying to give helpful information. Thank you, Zinzarius. I adore you. Paranormal Witch, I hope you got good feedback. Yeah, just throw me some ideas for some shows you'd like to do. I am open. You know, it can go left, right, up, down sometimes. That's the fun of it.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I love you too, JC Bear, so much.
Always feel good coming here. Always feel good when we exit. Love yous all because you're crazy like me, but we have fun at it.
And Dr. Payne Nestor, you are one of my new favorite people. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Shelly Marie, Shoeless One. If you would like to be a new mod on my channel, let me know. Drop me a note in my comments and we'll get it together. Before you leave, let's do some conscious breathing. Just inhale through your nose to the count of 4. Hold it. Slowly breathe out to the count of 4. Imagine a star just busted open over the top of your head, pouring healing light through your body. Inhale deeply. Hold it. Blow out to the count of 4. Excellent. Inhale deeply to the count of 4. Hold it, and that star is just pouring healing light through your whole body, down to your toes. Blow out. Inhaling one last time to the count of 4, allowing that light to pour all the way through your body. Excellent. Exhale slowly to the count of 4. Good job. Open your eyes. Excellent. And if you are interested, I will gift all of you. Forget about picking because the other person didn't claim it. I will gift all of you with a special healing. It's a guided / hypnosis meditation on Zoom, and we'll do it on a day through the week. If you're interested, drop your name in the comments and let me know. You cannot drive while we're doing it, and we'll do it on Zoom through the week. But you must drop your name in the comments of this video, and then I will get back with you. But I appreciate all of you coming. I love you. I love this community so, so much. Thank you for being here. I will see all of you on Saturday. And remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Zen and Audis, for coming. And Dr.
Thanks.
Yeah, I had a
Keep
glitch.
safe, everyone.
Dr. Payne. Yes, keep safe and have a good rest of your week. And Arsene, thank you too. Bye, everybody. And here we go. La, la, la. Let me find it. Bye.